All right, thank you everybody. Welcome here to a Hardhats TV presentation of our first regional game here at State. In State Regionals, we have our Hardhats will be hosting the Pierre Post State team from Pierre. They come into this game as the 12th seed, Hardhats the 5. And now, as we get ready, this is just how it's gonna. Oh, they're wearing their whites. Are they wearing whites?
Yeah.
Okay. They were wearing greens during warm-ups, so I got thrown off by that.
Well, good evening. Mike Fell joining my son Oliver Fell, and it's that time of year. It's regional baseball. This is it. This is where the games get extremely real as the Hardhats look to win yet another state title, try to get to back-to-back state championships and win state title number 45 in their illustrious history. And you look at this matchup, Oliver, and you know these two teams have familiarity with one another. Yep. This will be the fourth time they've played against each other, and there have been some real battles, and both of these teams have been able to defeat the other. I'm expecting some really good baseball in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I'd have to say that I'd agree with that. Pierre are not a stranger to state titles either. They won 8 in their history, 4 in the 30s, then back-to-back in, then they had 1 in 1941, then they had back-to-back in 1967 and 68, and of course the most recent being 2017.
Well, and these Pierre governors, many of these post 8 Pierre players have had success in football, and of course most people know that the Pierre T.F. Riggs High School has been able to win 6 consecutive state titles at the AA level. And so, you know, when you're a champion, you're a champion, and that success in one sport definitely helps when you're playing in the postseason of a different sport. And so this will be, I think, a challenging draw for the Hardhats.
Yeah, definitely not what they wanted.
Yeah, this is not the draw that they probably expected to have, but this is the draw that they do have, and they need to take care of some business.
Well, the thing is, on either side of Pierre here are Huron and Harrisburg Maroon, both, I would say, far easier teams to play. Hardhats have not played anybody from Harrisburg, but pretty much nobody has, as the Harrisburg Gold played the absolute minimum amount of games all at home. They got the 2 seed.
Baseball from Asheville, North Carolina, and the Firecracker Tournament champion off 2-run homer in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's hard to believe. I mean, this was my reaction, and it's not a factual reaction, but it's almost like an illusion. But I thought, you know, when we came into the ballpark together tonight, I thought, you know, Oliver, we haven't been here in a month. And he pointed out, no, it's only been 16 days since the Hardhats were here. But
oh, I remember the long road trip we had. That was 26 days.
Right.
Or no, not 26, 22. Fittingly, in the middle of June there.
Well, what we know is that it has been a while since a lot of these great Hardhat fans have come into the friendly confines of Fitzgerald Stadium to see their beloved 44-21 defending state champions get on the field. And this is going to be special tonight. Right. And I love single elimination. I know it's not single elimination.
It's not here,
but I like this kind of showdown, best of 3 format. You're going to get everybody's best, starting with the first pitch tonight.
All right, so let me run you through the lineups here today. We'll start out with the away team, Pierre. Pierre leading off will be their shortstop, super senior Matt Hansen, followed by the North Dakota State Bison commit, right fielder Jet Zabel. Then third baseman, Dakota Wesleyan player, Johnny Lyons will be at the 3. Cleaning up is left fielder Ridge Leimbach. Then second baseman Carter Sanderson will be at the 5. Followed by first baseman Matthew Coverdale, who has been, hitting the cover off the baseball against this team, sporting a .500 batting average in the games played so far against this Hardhats team. Then we have the catcher Nolan Peterson will be at 7. He sometimes plays outfield. He'll be catching today. Then the designated hitter, Cooper Terwilliger, will be at the 8. He's a new addition. He only played 1 game so far against the Hardhats. That was the final game in Pierre. Pierre's only win, so I think they're trying not to mess with the winning strategy. Then center fielder Spencer Easlin will be the 9, and Miles Doyle, the man who took the Hardhats 7 innings in their series at Fitzgerald earlier this year. He'll be starting here. He sports a 12.6 ERA against the Hardhats across his 2 starts, 0 for 1. But like I said, he did hold us pretty good for a bit there. We'll get to the Hardhats starting lineup. Leading off for the Hardhats, second baseman Aiden Roberts will lead things off. Then designated hitter Wyatt Reeder, sporting a .418 batting average this season. He needs 11 more at-bats to reach the minimum, I think. Then right fielder Harry Good will be at the 3, followed by first baseman Alex Dietrich cleaning up. Third baseman Hayden Hollick will be at the 5, the RBI leader for the team. Then center fielder Ridge Inhofer will bat 6th. Catcher Philip Bentz will catch today and be 7th in the order. Left fielder will be the senior Zeke Farley. And then shortstop Dom McKnight will be shortstop today and at the 9 hole. On the mound will be Hayden Lighty. He's getting the start. He's been nigh untouchable lately. He's been pretty amazing in all of his starts as of late. Coach Torvey saying, go out there, get us a win, get us started out here. It should be noted, that this Pierre team has played a lot of 2-game series, as with most Legion baseball programs. So far this year, in 2-game series, Pierre is 1-12 in the first game. They almost always lose the first game, but they're 5-8 in game number 2. So you got to watch out for the bounce back.
That's a very impressive observation. And another thing to look out for, Oliver, is how important this game number 1 is. These 2 teams split a series, as many of you know, when these teams met in the state capitol about a month ago. And I'm just saying right now, it is hard this time of year to sweep the same team on the same day. So if you win, whoever wins this game number 1 has a huge advantage, because it's very unlikely that a team is just going to sweep the opponent in a given doubleheader, and that's our format here.
Yeah.
We'll have a doubleheader, game 2 tomorrow morning, and then game 3 right afterwards if necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see this. I've got all the stats all around. We've got all the fun things. A number of these should be noted. This Pierre team, not only full of players who won football state titles, also won the Class A high school baseball title in the unsanctioned high school baseball year. So this team, not a stranger to winning. Most of these guys here, I do see somebody on the roster there. I believe that's the catcher. What's his name here? Come on, where is it? Deegan Hauschka, I believe is his name. He's won 4 state titles this year as a senior. A state title as a football player, a solo state title at the 160-pound weight division in wrestling, a team state title with the wrestling team, and then finally a baseball state title with this team.
Veterans in active duty and military not in uniform may also salute the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
All right, so as we get ready here, Hardhats will pitch to this Pierre team first. And this post eight team apparently being referred to as the Eights according to their jerseys. I'll update the scoreboard to do that. No? Okay.
Yeah, these two teams both have outstanding uniform combinations. I think I remember you saying earlier in the year.
Not a big fan of the whites.
Maybe, no, you love the green.
I love the emeralds.
But emeralds, but you know that the warm up, the emeralds were used in the warm up.
Yeah.
So there you go.
We had an all-time jersey matchup and a 9-8 walk-off win earlier this year.
That's right.
Sunday again, where we played both Casper and Pierre back to back. Both games were walk-offs.
Here we go. This is it. The Hardhats march to a state championship in 2023 officially begins in a matter of moments. And here with a play-by-play in Game 1 of this region Best of 3 regional series here at Fitzgerald Stadium, the voice of Hardhats TV. Here's Oliver Fell.
All right, so I'll recap those previous games the Hardhats have played this Pierre team in. Starting out the year, we got a Post 22 had a 15-5 5-inning mercy rule on June 10th at home. Then they followed that up with the walk-off game we were talking about, Post 22 versus Pierre. Hardhats ended up coming back, nearly got stunned by a then winless Pierre team. Hardhats pulled it out 9-8 with a Zeke Farley walk-off in the bottom of the 7th. That was on June 11th. Then they went over to Pierre on June 28th, played a doubleheader. Hardhats won that 15-5 again in game number 3. They went 3-0 to that point, and then Pierre jumped all over their pitching. Lee Negebauer got blown up, and Pierre was able to just barely hold out after a grand slam from Alex Dietrich made it close in the top of the 7th. But Pierre did win that one 12-9. So it's 3-1 of the season series. Hardhats with 2 mercy rolls in there, a really close win, and then a somewhat close loss. He'll be leading off pitching here to Matt Hansen, the shortstop. He lines one over to Dietrich. That's a routine play. How about that? Hard hit ball right at Dietrich's glove. He comes to his knee, makes the grab. That'll be out number 1.
I cannot underscore the importance of recording the first out at this time of year. It's so big to get that first hitter.
All right. So now up Jet Zabel, the tight end, 3-star tight end recruit coming out of that Riggs, what is it? Yeah. TF Riggs High School that just won state. He was the right-hand man of the Ohio State quarterback and former baseball teammate Lincoln Kleinholz. And so there we go. Zabel receiving offers from schools such as Pittsburgh and Memphis, verbally committed to North Dakota State as it sits. He's a junior. He'll have one more year. So 1-1. Lighty delivers. That's fouled off. Zabel batting an impressive 500 batting average here against the Hardhats in the games played. He also has a 625 OBP. Leads the team with 6 runs in those games against the Hardhats as well, and with 3 steals. So he has been a real thorn in the side of this Hardhats team over the course of their games this year. Lighty's coming off some great performances. Not to mention his 10 strikeout, 2-hit shutout of Thunder Bay and the Gopher Classic about 2 weeks ago. Zabel sets his feet. Lighty delivering it to Bentz here. The IQ of these two guys, this battery team, got to be bordering on, something like 280, 300. Hayden Lighty, valedictorian at his high school. That's a strike. Graduated cum laude. Member of the National Honor Society. Philip Bentz, a very accomplished academic as well. Also good at the arts. All-state chair for the saxophone in jazz band. Lighty gets his first K there, so that'll be that. Comes up Johnny Lyons. Lyons is committed to play at Dakota Wesleyan. He's the only baseball commit on this team outside of Matt Hansen. That's grounded. Bouncer over to McKnight. He'll handle it. Throw to first in time. So 1-2-3 inning there for Lighty. He's able to put down the Pierre 8-8s in order. And now Hardhats will get their turn to take a lead.
I want to make some observations. How about the crowd tonight? We've got a great attendance for this regional on a Thursday night. Kind of a cool night. We're about ready to head into the 90s and the 100s according to the forecast for the next several days. But we get this one cool day in the 70s. Temperatures probably as the sun goes down going to dip into the 60s, and you can tell the fans have prepared for a cool night, and we'll take it. Of course, a cool night may be a good harbinger of things to come, Oliver, because of course the 4th of July was the coldest 4th of July in the history of Rapid City, and that was the day that the Hardhats claimed the Firecracker Tournament title, Kelvin Torby's first Firecracker title as head coach of the Hardhats.
Yep. Well, all right, so on the mound is Miles O'Doyle. He comes into this game having made 2 starts against the Hardhats. Pierre had a little bit of a problem this year. They're very lopsided. Tons of great hitting, probably top 5 in the state in terms of team hitting. Pitching would rank towards the bottom. They allow a ton of runs. As you can see with both of those 15-5 mercy rulings from the Hardhats. Both of those were game 1s of the 2 series played. O'Doyle might have been on the mound he was on the mound for the 9-8 walk-off game, but he is 0 for 1, allowed 15 earned runs over 8 1/3 inning. He only has 7 strikeouts to 5 walks and carries a 12.6 ERA against these Hardhats, though he might be the best they got.
I should have asked John Winkler, the voice of Pierre Post-8, if Miles Doyle has a nickname of the doctor, because MD is his initials, and that's of course the doctor's ending to their title. Yep. All right, back to baseball.
Yeah, all right. That's going to be a ball, so back 2 balls issued here. Like I said, 7 Ks from Doyle over 8 1/3, only 5 walks. He's not a very walk-happy guy. Aiden Roberts, a very patient hitter, though. Keeps the lumber upright, and he'll take a strike. 3-2-1.
We've got that twilight shadow thing going with the overhang here in the grandstand with the shadows and the light, the ball going in and out of the sunlight from the pitcher, Miles Doyle, to home plate.
Okay, well, it's 3-1. Now, Aiden Roberts setting up. He's ahead in the count. Leadoff walk was as good as a single. That's a strike on the edge of the plate. Good pitch there from Doyle. He locates, so full count now. And the first at-bat of the game for the Hardhats. Doyle. Time called by Roberts. Roberts on an uncharacteristic cold streak. He went 1 for 14 in Sioux Falls as the leadoff man. That'll be in the dirt. So that'll be a walk for Miles Doyle. Or walk from Miles Doyle to Aiden Roberts, and that'll bring up the number 2 hitter, designated hitter, Wyatt Reeder. Reeder just 15, batting .418 at the Legion level, and an all-state defenseman in hockey. He is set for big things. For pretty much anything he touches, it seems. So that'll bring up Wyatt. That'll be a strike called there on the outside of the plate. Reeder, big parts of that batting average coming out in Sioux Falls in the most recent series. He put up a great weekend out there, taken outside. Hardhats did get a lot of time in between things. They finished up their season 2 days before it was necessarily needed to. The cutoff was the end of Monday night. Hardhats played their final game last Saturday in the middle of the day against Sioux Falls West in a doubleheader. They went 3-1 on the Sioux Falls road trip, including a split against the number 1 team in the state, Sioux Falls East. And that wasn't just a split. I mean, we're talking a very close 3-2 loss and then a resounding 11-2 win. Fouled off So 2-2 now.
The Hardhats have had some very, very impressive wins this summer. Whether it's next level baseball, whether it's Millard South, who won the College World Series tournament, or Maple Grove in Minnesota.
Taken up and outside, so make it 3-2 now. Once again, Doyle worked himself into a full count, using up some pitches early. Torby's got to like that. So now full count here. Reeder, a master of the single. He'll put it through the gap whenever he wants. Takes it outside. That's a walk. And Peterson not going to have a throw because it was a walk. So, I mean, an issued base there from Doyle. Back-to-back walks on full counts. And that'll bring up Harry Good. He'll be happy to be back here. His last at bat at Fitzgerald Stadium, a 2-run walk-off home run to beat the nationally ranked next-level baseball team from Asheville, North Carolina. I'd say that was a pretty good at bat. So Harry Good, they're gonna come chalk to the pitcher. Manager here for Pierre.
You don't see a manager run.
He wasn't even going to ask the umpires. He was going.
He just ran to that. I don't know if he saw something there or if he just really wants to intensely send a message to Miles Doyle that if we're going to win this game, something has to change. So far, 2 batters, 2 walks, not the start that the ace for the Pierre Governors post 8 was looking for on the mound tonight. And you look at the Hardhats, we're talking about memorable moments and Harrison Good. Here's a little story. A lot of people haven't heard it probably, but there were a number of those next level baseball players. They were coming up the stairs, and you had a post-game interview with our good friend Dylan Marsh, who, let's give a shout out to Dylan. He was able to be on the broadcast tonight. Let's get back to action. I'll tell the story momentarily.
Swing and a miss. Something about Doyle you might not know. He actually pitched a 6-inning no-hitter against Brandon Valley to get the Pierre their first win of the year on the 17th of June. An ace, not an exaggeration, though his ERA against the Hardhats speaks otherwise. But he did have a 6-inning no-hitter against Brandon Valley. You know who pretty much no-hit Brandon Valley as well? Over 7 innings, allowing just the 1 hit, no walks, was Hayden Leidy.
I remember that game. It was like no one could score on that Wednesday afternoon game.
Fouled and fought away. Now up to a full count. Or not a full count, a 1-2.
Harrison Good was really upset with himself 2 pitches ago. He got the pitch he wanted, and he just fouled it off. He just missed what he was looking for.
Harrison Good having an incredible season, reminiscent of what you might expect for a South Dakota Legion Player of the Year. At the plate at least, and he's done pretty well in the outfield. 7 outfield assists.
Yeah, to say pretty well is...
Oh yeah, no, you had hiccups at the start.
Okay, well, okay.
So 2-2. That's a strike 3, delivered right down Main Street. So now O'Doyle gets his first out of the game, the no-hitter intact. And that'll bring up the cleanup man, Alex Dietrich.
Was it Alex Dietrich that had the grand slam home run against Pierre?
Sure did. He hit
doubleheader?
2 home runs in those 2 games. He hit 2 home runs that day over the wooden outfields at Hyde Park.
I think Alex Dietrich officially is what you call a giant killer or a Pierre killer. I mean, it's one of those situations. It seems like when Alex Dietrich is against Pierre, look out. And just along those same lines, the catcher calls timeout to talk to Miles Doyle and probably remind him who he's dealing with here.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Grand Slam could very well, in just a matter of moments, be Mr. 3-run home run for the Hardhats. To finish that story about Harrison Good, the next level baseball players, they were coming up the stairs, and Harrison Good, who had a huge smile on his face, obviously, after that big home run to win the Firecracker, he didn't want to come out of the broadcast booth with a big smile on his face because you didn't want to rub it in, you know, sportsmanship wise to the losing team that was coming up the stairs, the nationally ranked team from North Carolina. But you know what happened, which was neat? They actually saw Harrison Good through the window, and the players for Next Level Baseball, they just wanted to tell Harrison Good how impressed they were with him. That was a great moment.
Swing and a miss underneath that ball, so that'll be strike number one for Doyle. It's a 2-1 count now to Dietrich. Dietrich having an incredible July. He's put up 4 home runs this month, 2 of which were in Pierre. Or no, that was 2. Never mind. He's hit up 2 home runs this month. That's going to be lined over to short, handled cleanly by Hansen. He throws to second base. Double play. They'll get out the inning. So Doyle able to get out of trouble, and nobody scores in the first.
That is definitely frustrating. You had everything going the way the Hardhats wanted it to go. They had the 1, 2, 3 inning in the top of the first. They get the first 2 men on base, and they come up empty. And now this dangerous Pierre Governors post-8 team that has nothing to lose has to feel a lot better
got game
about
1
themselves
to lose.
after. Well, but nothing to lose, meaning they're 9-26. They're not supposed to make it to Yankton. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I agree. Though it should be noted that if you remove their 0-17 start to the year, they've gone a pretty respectable 9-9 since that point.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not putting them down, but again, the expectations, if you will, the pressure that comes with expectations, you know, is clearly on the post-22 Hardhats. And for a Pierre team that is 17 games under 500, you know, compared to the Hardhats, who are 23 games over 500, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
We know who the Giant, who the David is. We know who the Goliath is. And for Pierre, they need to build on positive momentum. And a team that has struggled mightily to get outs and to limit the opposing team from scoring a lot of runs has to feel a lot better about itself after that double play and getting out of that threat to start the game.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that. Whatever the Pierre coach said to Doyle really worked. Really settled him down and whatnot. So coming up now will be Ridge Leimbach, one of 2 Ridges in this game.
You know, you never know what magic words need to be said, but great skippers have a way of just knowing not only what to say, but how to say it and when to say it.
Yeah, well, it's 1-1 now. Leimbach batting .462, 500 OBP, and slugging or have it with an OPS over 1,000 against this Hardhats team. That's a foul tip, 1-2. Lighty not allowed an inch here for Pierre so far.
Oliver, you told me the story that before Harrison Good hit that
1-2
game-winning home run in the firecracker.
Foul tip just dropped off of the glove of Philip Bentz.
You told me the story that Coach Torvey told Harrison Good, just breathe.
That wasn't even Coach. That was Nick Ewing.
Oh, it was Nick Ewing that told
Ewing
him.
told him,
He
yeah.
just said, hey, just take a breath, just breathe. You know, that was good advice.
Yep. And then he hit the big homer. Fouled off. Fought away for the cleanup man, Leimbach. Leimbach, very good name given the color scheme of all Pierre as a city, it seems. Everybody seems to be green.
Oh, okay.
Well, fouled off. That's what I was seeing with Riken, or not Riken, Riggs. I thought they were green as well.
Oh, yeah, but they are. It's
Yeah.
the same color scheme.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
I'm
that
constantly saying Governors as I see the Pierre colors. In fact, our good buddy John Winkler, he's got the Pierre Governors.
That's chopped, high bouncer over to Hollick. He comes in, makes a grab, throws in the dirt. Good job from Dietrich. He digs it out. And that was not an easy catch, made well by the first baseman.
What a tremendous play by both of the corner infielders for the post-22 Hardhats. Hollick making a very agile and very adept handling of that smash towards the hot corner, and then you talk about an amazing backhanded scoop that was made to look easier than it was. There it was right there from Alex Dietrich.
So here's something. Here comes Carter Sanderson, the second baseman today. There's plenty of second basemen that move around. He's batting .400, leads the team. He has 2 doubles. 5 RBIs, 5 runs across the 2 games. That's another ball called a little bit up and away. Carter Sanderson, hockey forward for North Star Christian Academy. And he was second team All-State in hockey his freshman year last year. So, not quite reader, but pretty good with the stick. That's a strike. Upper outside part of the plate. So now we're looking at a 2-1. Lighty not giving up anything so far against this Pierre team. 2-1. Delivery. That's going to be smacked up the line. Holland gets it. He's going to make a hard throw. It's not going to get there. And I'd argue that's an infield single.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any counter argument. That is a hit, and that was going to be an extremely hard play, not only for Hayden Holland to make, but my favorite current Major League player, Manny Machado, would have probably barely made that play.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Sanderson didn't even really, it wasn't like an especially well-placed ball. It just kind of really just limped its way over to third. It took a long time to get there. And then, of course, you're covering the whole infield. Coverdale is here. He's batting over 500 against this team. Farley makes the grab. Coverdale, back when he was 9 years old, caught a salmon that ranked that was just 9 ounces short of the state record.
Wow. You really have done your research for this game tonight, Oliver. We're talking about talk about a great catch. That's a whole different kind of great catch right there.
Yeah, well, I was able to find some good news articles for the man Coverdale. It was 23 pounds, 6 ounces on a Chinook salmon. He caught it with 8-year-old, at the time he was 9, 8-year-old Grace Hanton. It will stay. It was 9 ounces short of the state record for a Chinook salmon.
That is awesome. That's great.
Yeah. All right, 1-0 now. Here to Nolan Peterson. He's catching today. What a weird stance. It's almost like he's talking to it. Over to Hollick. That'll be out number 3. So one man gets aboard on an infield hit. Then Lighty shuts him down. And we are through an inning and a half. Nobody scored here. Not exactly what I was expecting at this Pierre game.
Fast-moving game. A lot of excitement, though. We've seen some really good infield defense. And we have seen shifts in momentum. I would say the opening few moments in this game really were tone-setting moments for the home team, for our Hardhats. And then Pierre gets out of a jam, gets that double play, and they get on base and they got something going, and then the Hardhats say, no you don't, and they get out of trouble. And these two teams working quickly, playing quickly, in a cool, brisk, mid-July summer's night. Here we go. We've got a good one in Game 1 of the 2023 American Legion Regionals here in South Dakota.
All right. Let's say good evening to Carissa watching back from Arizona, and Igor from Northern Ontario. Found him through the YouTube algorithm, and he's here for playoffs.
Now let's give a big shout out to our man Dylan Marsh. Dylan, I know we understand you're working hard, and we're thinking of you, buddy.
Get back to me about tomorrow.
Did he get back to you?
No.
Oh, get back.
That's my message for him.
If you can make it, because we love having Dylan Marsh on these Hardhats TV broadcasts.
Yeah, it's my understanding he'll be out there for state.
Good. Yes, that's my understanding too. But you know what? We got to get to state first.
True.
That's what this is right here. The regionals and the Hardhats in a scoreless tie as we move to the bottom of the second. And stepping in is Hayden Hollick, and here's Oliver to tell you about it.
Well, Hayden Hollick led the team in RBIs this year with 69. A full 7 over second place, Alex Dietrich, who had 62. So, Hayden looking to lead this off. He's usually good at driving people in. He's going to try to get himself aboard. A little bit of a limbo. Gets out the way of that one. 1-0 now for Doyle. This team for Pierre missing a lot of those pitching pieces that seem to work so well for them in high school ranks. They were pretty good out there, of course, winning the Class A title in high school. They had, of course, Lincoln Keinholtz, the Ohio State quarterback commit. That is going to be a foul ball, so 2-1. They had him. He was one of their best pitchers. And then J.J. Buchholz, who I don't know why he's not here. I'm not totally sure, but he was unstoppable in high school this year. That's going to be hit hard and foul, out of play. So now to a 2-2 count. Doyle has gotten back into it. Hollick was a big part of those Hardhats teams, I'd say, in June, which was kind of an iffy month for the Hardhats. I think Hollick might have been the player of the month there. He did a great job in all those
also,
games.
Really bounced back from
Low.
quite a lower body injury that he sustained on a hard smash in a game against the Billings Royals back at Joe Pert's Field the first weekend of May.
Yeah, well, he came back. He was back for the Watertown series. That's outside, so a walk issued to the leadoff man. Patience rewarded for Hayden Hollick, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Ridge Inhofer, who has been red hot lately.
I think Ridge really has done so much to elevate the lineup. When you can get 6, 7 deep in Coach Torby's lineup with consistent, steady production, there's really no place for the opposing
What's going on
pitcher
here?
to hide.
Umpires having a meeting.
Umpires are going to have a conversation. We just saw the home plate umpire point down with 2 fingers, almost like the introduction with Isaac from the Love Boat TV show intro. And I don't exactly know what that was all about, but here we go.
They've come to a consensus. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they were even talking about, but they've decided.
Well, here we go. I mean, maybe they decided where they're going to have dinner after.
I was thinking Village Inn or something, you know.
I think they might be thinking some Cold Stone or something.
That's not dinner. You can't eat ice cream for dinner. Kids don't listen to him.
Umpires can do whatever they want.
Throwback, not in time, but it's a close call. Almost got Hollick. Coverdale, a good defensive first baseman, not so great on the base paths, but as we've seen with some of his plays. But all in all, pretty good. Doyle gives his first pitch. Inhofer really swung at that one, got underneath it. So 0-1 now. Doyle getting ready. Inhofer has hit something to the tune of 3 triples, 3 home runs, and I don't know, God knows how many extra base hits in the last 4 weeks. He has just been on fire, the Mesa Community College player, formerly a Sturgis Titan. So 0-1. That's called too.
I was watching Miles Doyle a moment ago. He kept nodding his head, and he almost looked like the quintessential bobblehead double.
Yeah, he was really making sure he was going to get Hollick. I might add, Hollick, like 4 for 6 on the year in stolen base attempts. He's not a very effective stealer. I wouldn't be too worried. But I guess everything matters here.
You bet it does. Every 90 feet is an important piece of real estate in a scoreless tie here in Game 1 of the regionals.
I'm just going to say, I don't think I've seen Hollick do a leadoff steal of second this year, is all I'm going to say.
It's not once. I just can't remember when.
0-2 in the dirt. Peterson gets it. 1-2. Might notice Peterson wearing all gray stuff. I guess in case whatever team he plays for, he doesn't have to deal with, any sort of jersey, but his whole catching gear, all kind of the generic. Grounded over to short. Sanderson makes the throw. It's off of the glove of the second baseman, and an error will allow Ridge Inhofer to reach base. Now 2 men on, nobody out. The first error of the game. No, that was Sanderson at second. The shortstop is Matt Hansen. So Carter Sanderson lets that one through the leather. And that's a big break for the Hardhats, and you've got to feel really bad for all your peer supporters.
That is an enormous swing for the Hardhats. Instead of perhaps 2 outs, nobody on, now you have 2 men on and nobody out. Talk about your swing right there.
The math would support that. I believe that the Hardhats would have something like a 1.2 or no, not 1.2, like a 1.0, 1.05 kind of run expectancy ratio right now with the men on first and second, nobody out. If there was just a man on first, one out, I believe that drops to 0.36.
We can throw the metrics around, but last inning the Hardhats had their first 2 men on base with nobody out and didn't score. So,
oh hey, if the metrics say you should get 1 and we got 0, then maybe we get 2 here and we balance them out. So 1-1 count.
I do put a lot of stock in metrics, but that being said, every game is different. That's what we love so much in baseball.
All right, here comes the man they're calling first AB Phil. Bunt put down, he drops it on the ground and just a little bit foul. So Bent's now up to 2 strikes, may not have a chance to bunt anymore. First AB Phil has been great on the first AB, as the name would imply, over the last month or so.
Well, I almost want to say Philip Benz is Mr. not AB but A&W, as in A&W root beer.
He would never. He's a 1919 root beer guy.
We heard he is a huge root beer fan.
If I heard his ranking of the 4 major root beers that he drinks, and A&W fell into 3rd place. He had 1919 root beer.
I just had to segue.
Yeah, he is a big. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
AB to A&W.
That's good.
That is America's #1 recognized root beer brand.
Yeah. Well, I believe his ranking was #1 was 1919 root beer. That's smacked into right! And Linebaugh makes the grab. They throw to the infield, and that'll be a line out. That had some power underneath it, just kind of floated a little longer than you thought it might.
Line out to Linebaugh, and that's out #1. And let's see here if Zeke Farley, batting 8th, can come through with the first runs batted in of the ballgame.
All right, so Zeke Farley, this time last year, All-State left fielder. He smacks one into center. That'll get down. Pollock touches 3rd. He's going to come on in. So 1 run will score. Hardhats take the lead on an RBI single by Zeke Farley.
I can just feel that RBI hit coming. That's why I said you said it. That was right on cue. Sometimes it's not what you see, it's what you sense. And I could just sense Zeke Farley was going to come through with an RBI base hit. That's what we got. And right now the Hardhats, they jump in front of Pierre, and how big was that error at second base by Sanderson?
Yeah, I mean, the leadoff man would have only been Ridge Inhofer on 3rd had he gotten that out. We would have been at 2 outs. And now, you were a big fan of the suicide squeeze or something in that range. I think we might see one right here. Don McKnight, an amazing bunter. There he goes! He puts one down over to 3rd. He's going to run. Will he get there? He is safe. Ball gets away. Now, Farley, rounding 3rd. He'll be told to stay. And that is an RBI bunt there from Don McKnight. Gets Farley over to 3rd. 2 men in scoring position, 1 out. Hardhats make it 2-0.
Oh, I love the call by Coach Torby and the coaching staff. And boy, that was a lot of fun. That's that old wheelhouse baseball play. You just love it. And the Hardhats lead 2-0. And now the energy in this crowd really picking up a few notches on this cool night in July.
Yeah, so let me tell you the root beer thing again. So Philip Benz's top root beers: #1, 1919 root beer, followed by Mug, followed by A&W, and then Barks was the 4th, I believe.
Barks is flat.
That's smacked foul.
If Barks went away, I wouldn't miss it very much. Wait, I wouldn't miss it at all. Barks is not. You can do better than Barks. I have to give Philip Benz credit. He knows his root beer.
Oh, of course. That and mowers. He's got the whole deal. Yeah. So 1-1. Aiden Roberts now back up again. He had a walk in the 1st. That wouldn't do a ton here, but it also wouldn't hurt. Strike on the inside of the plate. Well delivered there. Now Doyle looking at a 1-2.
And let's give Philip Benz his credit for his country music walk-up selection. Better Man by Clint Black. Clint Black, fine country artist back in the day.
That's smacked on and poked into left. It's going to get down. The center fielder handles it. Easland throws it in. 2 runs will score. And a 2-run single by Aiden Roberts. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your life jackets because the floodgates have opened here at Fitzgerald Stadium.
Well, right now it is really coming down as you talk about floodgates. What a tremendous job by the bottom half of the Hardhats order to strike big for 4 runs. And now the Hardhats are doing what the Hardhats need to do against the 9-26 team from the state capital. That's jump on the opponent and keep on jumping up and down and racking up those runs on the scoreboard. 4-0. What a start for the Hardhats.
Now, technically, neither of those runs are earned to Doyle because of the error on the third baseman, so he only has 2. Or on the, no, 1 on second base, but those were both for Ridge and Hollick, so he hasn't earned any. Because Ridge and Hollick both benefited from the error at second, and then the error from third that got away from the first baseman, Coverdale, also did the trick there. So we've got Roberts on first. He is a stolen base candidate. He has plenty this year since his promotion from the Expos. His promotion from the Expos, actually, same day that the Hardhats played Pierre for the first time, he made an incredible interception play on a stolen base to second base that got the lead runner out at third on the bottom of the top of the 7th.
That's a play of the year in my book. That's my favorite defensive play this season.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be skied into shallow right. Coming in as Linebach, he'll make the out. So out number 2 is recorded. Reeder goes down. And that'll bring up Harry Good with a man on first, 2 outs. See if he can juice this inning for anything more.
Oliver, you put a lot of time in to put those top 3 moments for all of those players together. How can people watch those moments?
They're not out yet.
Oh, okay. Stand
Yeah.
folks.
I've got them all compiled. I've got most of the clips. I was helping out my mom back in Denver this week. Going for second. Roberts is safe by a lot. And a stolen base is taken. So now I believe it's a 1-0 count. Man on second for Harry Good. That changes things a little.
So we're just going to anticipate, much like people are anticipate the movie releases of Barbie and Oppenheimer this week. We're anticipating the top 3 moments of the year for all of the Hardhat players.
Oh, yeah. Everybody who played at least 10 games is included. That includes Mars Saylor, Peyton Tipton, who else have I got? Dylan Marsh. Yeah, he played most of the season, though. I was thinking guys who played fractions. Swing and a miss! High. So we've got Lemmer, we've got, River, we've got everybody on this team. Top 3 moments / performances of the year. And that should be coming at you throughout this week after the regionals and before state. So that's inside. 3-1 count now here to Harry. Harry will begrudgingly take a walk if you give it to him. I'm sure he wants to make some contact here, though.
Everybody knows Harry Good's #1 moment of the season.
Yeah. Popped up, and is that going to stay in play? Nope. It's going to land on the grass in foul territory left field. So we will move to a full count. Might I add, Doyle has come to a full count 3 times this game. All 3 of them, he has walked the batter.
How about that?
So Harry Good probably can sit a little bit back here on a ball, possibly.
Miles Doyle now has thrown a lot of pitches, and that's just as significant as
payoff.
trailing 4-0.
That's high, so he walks his 4th guy on a full count. Maybe the pressure gets to him. I don't know the real deal there. But now still 2 men on. That'll bring up Dietrich trying to get some, redeem himself from that double play that ended last inning.
In baseball, winning teams like the Hardhats have a way of making their opponents pay for mistakes. And right now the Hardhats absolutely punishing Pierre for that mistake on what could have been a double play ball earlier in this home half of the 2nd inning.
Yeah, well, as it looks like there's even a possibility as what could be the 7th run comes to the plate, it's important to note Doyle will earn 0 runs this inning. Kind of a weird thing in the quirks of baseball, but I totally agree with it in the case of the Sanderson out. That's taken up and inside, as that would have ended the inning before any of this shenanigans went down.
I mean, right now, the Hardhats are living on borrowed time given to them as a gift from the visitors from Pierre, South Dakota.
All right, 1-1 count. That's swung on and driven into center. Caught. Eastland makes the final out of the inning. Hardhats do put up 4 in the bottom of the second. They come out to a commanding lead, and they'll hand it back over to the pitcher, Hayden Leidy, for the third.
The Hardhats bat around in the home half of the second inning, and for post 22, they're now in a golden position to just play their game. And for Pierre, a team that, although they've gone 500 and they're in a certain body of work in the last couple of weeks, a Pierre team that's 9-26, now what happens when they look at the scoreboard, knowing that they could have been able to, with that error at second base not happening, likely keep the game scoreless going to the third, now Pierre has it in their mind of, uh-oh, here we go again. That proverbial other shoe starts to mentally drop on a team like the Pierre Post 8 ball club, and we're going to have to see how Pierre responds. For Hayden Leidy, he has some run support. He's got a cushion. He can just go out and throw strikes and get after it here as we go to the top of the third inning.
Yeah, so to recap the bottom of the second for the Hardhats, they put up 3 hits, 4 runs. None of them earned. None of them earned to Doyle. There were 2 errors, one on third baseman Johnny Lyons and one on second baseman Carter Sanderson. And there were 2 men left aboard. It's 4-0. It'll bring up the 8-hole hitter, Cooper Terwilliger, who, like I said, played only the 1 game against the Hardhats this year, but it was a game where he went 1 for 3 against. No, that'll get into right. So he keeps the hot streak. Terwilliger moves to 500 against this Hardhats team this year and gets a leadoff single on pitch number 1.
How about the 8-hole hitters so far tonight? Zeke Farley with the first RBI single of the ball game. It really got things going on the scoreboard for post 22. And then Cooper Terwilliger, the leadoff hitter, the first leadoff hitter to reach base against Hayden Leidy and the Hardhats so far tonight.
All right, so Leidy gonna have to deal with a man on. He does seem to be a little bit less successful out of the stretch than he does with nobody on this year. That's something I've noticed. Spencer Eastland might have only played a little bit on the football team this year. 3 tackles, 1 interception, but he did get a pick 6. And now he's verbally committed to Wayne State for football. So there you go. He's going to have 1 more year, likely getting more playing time on that team going into 2024.
Pick 6s are wonderful things. If you're out there east of Ogle, I'm thinking of you, buddy. Pick 6, St. Thomas More football against Sturgis Brown last year in the Black Hills Conference Championship game.
All right, 1-1 count here. Leidy throws back. He turned his entire body before he made the start to a throw. He kind of telegraphed. Might have been more of a scare tactic than an actual attempt to get the out. 1-1 now here to Eastland. A dying position. There has not been, I guess, just a white corner. You never see that anymore, at least at the pro level. You see it a little bit. I think Northwestern has one right now. But you haven't seen anybody since Jason Seahorn. That's going to be grounded softly up the middle, and so 1 out recorded. Pollock gets the out at first. A fielder's choice will allow the man Terwilliger to move over to second. And we come back to the top of the order with super senior Matt Hansen.
Let's see how Hayden Leidy can try to dance around a runner at second with just 1 out.
So yeah, Tim, they play tomorrow whether they win or not. We have to play game 2. It's a best-of-3 series. This is game 1. And then they'll play a 3rd time tomorrow if they both split the 2 games. Winner goes to state. And then I believe it's reseeded there with the top 8
That's
teams.
my understanding.
Yeah. So 0-1 count now here to Hansen. Hansen, the lone super senior on this Pierre team. Swing, and I think he went. Did he? We got to challenge that one? Safe? All right, 1-1. I thought he went.
Oliver, the Hardhats on that Missouri River road trip back in late June made a appearance in Yankton and trying to get back there for a second time this year.
Hardhats split out there in Yankton. Yankton finished third as a team. We're going to, I believe it's Riverside Stadium, overlooking the Missouri. So 1-1 in the dirt. Vance does a good job to keep that in front of him as it almost goes through his legs. And now we're looking at 2-1.
I wonder with Yankton earning an automatic trip as the host team to state, if they're watching, I guess a big shout out to any of you Yankton folks tuning in tonight, wondering who you might play. You may see the Hardhats down the road.
Just a little bit high.
The defending state champs trying to head to Yankton to reach the state tournament in 2023.
Hansen hit for the cycle last week against Bismarck. He got his first home run of his career with Pierre in inning number 1. Followed that up with a single, then a triple in the 4th, and then in the 6th he got the cycle in a game that they would lose 8-18 at home against Bismarck. They'd eventually split that series. 3-1. That'll be a walk. So Lighty issues his first walk of the day. And now 2 men on, 1 out. Pierre starting to mount that kind of offense you always see from him.
For the first time, I really believe that Hayden Lighty's going to need to respond to some pressure. There's 2 on and only 1 out. It's a 4-0 game. Let's see how Hayden delivers in this high leverage situation.
He's pitching here to Jet Zabel. He's probably the hardest bat on the lineup. Right back to him. He throws over to short. Then McKnight to first. Double play. Hayden Lighty gets out of trouble. He takes one right down the pipe and gives it over to McKnight. McKnight over to Dietrich. And that is out number 3. Nobody scores in the 3rd. It remains scoreless. Hardhats lead 4-0 entering the bottom of the frame.
What a pitch and what a marvelous job right there by Lighty to field his position, and man, that was just what Hayden needed to deliver, and he delivered that with some gusto. That was a great momentum shifting double play right there for the Hardhats, and now that 4-0 lead looks a lot bigger as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Miles Doyle throws his warm-up tosses. We're in game 1 of this best-of-3 regional series. Hardhats drawing a team in here that reminds me a lot of those old 1980s Texas Ranger American League teams. The Rangers would never contend. They were not putting up winning records, but they just would score. And they would give up a lot of runs, but they would just try to win 11-10 or 9-8. And this was before, the 80s, of course, was before there was a Coors Field and before the Rockies' existence. But I remember fondly those 1980s Texas Rangers teams. And this Pierre team reminds me a lot of the 80s Rangers.
Okay. Well, Hayden Ollie going to lead this one off. We're going to restart the scene the same way we did in the 2nd. A little bit of a reset. Pollock in the 2nd, leadoff walk, ended up coming back around. Should have gotten out at 2nd, but a Carter Sanderson error allowed him to continue. That is actually the Hardhats' 2nd 1-6-3 double play of the year. That's lined over to 2nd. Sanderson gets it this time. Throw to 1st in time. So out number 1 recorded on the ground out to Sanderson in 2nd. That'll bring up Ridge Inhofer.
Well, that is encouraging. Carter Sanderson, right after that inning after the big error, just calmly does his business the way he needs to at second base. Good job there by Carter.
Yeah, I know that it's something you might not normally see, but Ridge Inhofer, I think, given a certain situation, if you were to measure it, I believe he might have the check swing gets a piece of it. But he might have the highest exit velocity at max of anybody on this team. When he hits one, he smokes it. Very good, definitely up there. But I feel like when Ridge hits a line drive in the right way, it barrels it up, he can really give a ride.
Yeah, Ridge just has, there's just a certain
You know, almost like Michael A. Taylor.
There's a force behind Ridge Inhofer's swing.
So a 2-1. Swung on and right down the middle. Lead off, or a 1-out single for the center fielder. Ridge Inhofer gets aboard. He is a stolen base problem.
Ridge is coming over from Sturgis last year and just making quite a contribution throughout the regular season. And as you alluded to earlier, Ridge just a much stronger player in the second half of the season than the first half.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's definitely somebody that Peterson and Doyle need to watch out for on the bases. Bentz does his signature flinch, takes one in the zone. So 0-1 now. Bentz's last time up did line out to the right fielder, Leinbach. Looking for his first hit of the day. For first AB Phil. Throwback, not in time. So it's an 0-1 count now here. They are going to make sure that Ridge stays close. Coverdale there, the first baseman, in addition to catching that big fish, he, that one line, Hopper, good play from Lyons. He'll throw to first. Way to go. He falls down to his knees, makes a grab from the ground, and Philip Bentz's weird spin hopper off of the ground there, off the turf. Not going to turn into anything as Lyons does a great job, puts it away. That'll advance Ridge Inhofer, but the out recorded. So now 2 outs, and coming up is Zeke Farley. He has a certain swagger to him today that I'd say I haven't seen in a minute from him.
Well, this is the Zeke Farley we would have to say is the best version, baseball version of who he is. And Zeke, you know, he started the season as the leadoff man, and you know, he is just making a difference here in the bottom of the order right now for the surging Hardhats. This is great to see, and way to go, Zeke. That big hit that got the scoring started tonight. Can't understate how important that big RBI hit was back in the second inning.
Well, with Ridge's speed, a single might do it here too. That's a strike. Maybe a good frame job by the catcher Peterson. He catches it with the very outside of his glove to trick the umpire into pulling that one into the strike zone. So it's 0-2 now for Zeke Farley. Farley, very hard strikeout. Well, he takes some looking on inconsistent zones, but there's a ball. He has probably the best eye out of anybody on this team. Maybe close with Aiden Roberts. So 1-2 count. Farley still awaiting. Fouls one off. So remains 1-2.
We have our first foul ball for the kids to chase.
No,
There
that's
we
number
have it.
3.
Okay, well, it's the first one I've turned around and seen.
Okay, there was somebody eating over there that almost got hit by one at the start, and then there was a second one that got over. So that's number 3 of the day for foul balls that have gone back. But I'm sure that they're all enjoying it. Plenty of kids out here today at Fitzgerald Stadium. Curveball a little bit high. Doyle, I don't know how, but he thought he was going to get out the inning with that one. So 2-2. Inhofer takes off for third. The throw, not there, but he slides past the bag. Inhofer slides a little on the turf. He's a little too fast, I guess. Couldn't get a grip on the base, and he overshoots the bag, and that'll be the final out. A weird caught stealing.
That's hard. That's just really hard. It's one of those things in baseball you would say is a cringe-worthy moment because you see the base runner put everything he can into getting the bag, but sometimes it's just a little too much, and it takes a certain technique. It's very difficult to practice to make sure that you keep every part of your body on the bag, but on that last moment, on that throw down the third, it was Ridge Inhofer not only going past the bag, but way past the bag.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't have the most natural surface here at Fitzgerald Stadium.
No, I
and
think you could slide a little
sometimes-
further on this
Yeah,
than, like,
I think there's a little
the
bit of
dirt.
an extra slide factor that we have here on our home field at Dave Blue Field than what you may find at most ballparks, especially the natural grass or natural dirt.
That's what Pierre's
infields
used
that
to.
that you have.
That's what Pierre's used to. They don't have any turf at the moment. It's all dirt and green grass out at Hyde Park in Pierre.
And looking at Pierre, what stood out to me was that dirt between the pitcher's mound and home plate, that dirt path that reminded me of the Arizona Diamondbacks ballpark,
The Bob.
the Bob.
First pitch. Breaking ball a little bit high for Lighty. He's had a good job today. He is now facing Johnny Lyons. Lyons grounded out to McKnight last time. Popped out of play. 1-1.
I was looking over at the Rapid City Post 22 Hall of Fame, Hardhats Hall of Fame, and I was looking at the state championship seasons, and it seems as though the Hardhats have been in this pattern, Oliver, where they'll win a title, then they won't win a title, then they come back and win a title the next year. It's been a little while since the Hardhats have won back-to-back state titles, and that's what they're going for right now.
Grounded over to Hollick. Easy grab. Throw to first in time. So a routine out for out number 1. Lions retired. That'll bring up Leinbach. Leinbach was batting .462 coming into the game against the Hardhats. He did get out in his first at bat though, so probably more like .450 at the moment. That's smacked over to second. Handled cleanly by Roberts. Out number 2. He's not even looking at the base. He spins around, he looks to the outfield, and he knows that's a good throw.
That was just great. We just love Aiden Roberts. He has had such a integral role to play when injuries were really hitting the Hardhats in a challenging way earlier this summer. It was Aiden Roberts who came up from the Expos and hasn't looked back, and Aiden has just been magnificent this year.
All right, 1-0 now to Sanderson. Sanderson, a lefty. I don't know how. I think that might help him a little out on the ice. I'm not too sure. Are most left wingers lefty? I don't know.
I don't know about that. What I do know is there's a bunch of hockey players for both of these teams, actually.
Yep. Dietrich, Reeder, Farley, and I don't remember the last one. That's grounded over to short. Hollick gets it. He'll throw hard and get the play at first. McKnight puts up his hand, says, "Okay, bro, you got it. You got it." And that'll be it. So 1-2-3 inning for Hayden Hollick. Pierre getting shut out here through 4. A very good offense being contained by Hayden Lighty.
Well, Hayden's pitching extremely well, and he's backed up by outstanding defense. And that last play by Hayden Hollick, I mean, it looked not once but twice like that was going to be an infield single. And Hollick not only didn't give up on it, when he unleashed his throw, I mean, that had a lot of heat behind it. I mean, that's about as hard as you'll ever see a third baseman throw to first right there.
I do see in the batting, in the on-deck circle, is that Wilson Kiefer? No, it's Reeder.
It's Reeder.
Why is he out there?
Well, he's on deck.
No, he isn't. McKnight's on
He's
deck.
in the hole, rather.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking that the hole was maybe on the other side of the dugout.
Everybody's just getting loose while they can before the pitcher, Miles Doyle, completes his warm-up tosses.
Yeah, well, Doyle coming into his 4th inning of work, he's earned nothing so far.
No, that's actually, you can make the case the difference in this game has simply been the Hardhats have taken advantage of a pair of errors by the Pierre Post 8 American Legion Baseball Club.
All right, so first pitch over to Farley. He sits one down on the turf. Easy play. And that's going to be a leadoff single. Zeke Farley, a perfect bunt down the line. Lions throw not even close to being in time. And the leadoff single for Farley. Don't be surprised if you see the exact same play again here with Dom McKnight. He got a bunt RBI single in the last one.
Yeah, right now the Hardhats, they play small ball about as well as a team from the 1910s. And, you know, it works. It worked over a century ago, and it works today.
All right, so expect one down the third baseline again. Oh, he misses. And that'll be that'll be a first strike.
Oliver, do you know back in the early 1900s what was a very common strategy or approach in the small ball era of Major League Baseball?
The chop.
Yes, you got it. The Baltimore chop is what they called
Swing
it.
and a miss.
And the chop was where you actually kind of wanted to hit the ball down, kind of like the way Eric Hosmer usually approaches his at-bats, to get a big bounce up into the air to give yourself enough time to race to first base.
0-2. Inside, 1-2. It did help that the average person was probably like 5 or 6 inches shorter than they are now, but
it probably did. or even shorter than that.
Yeah, 1-2. Just a little outside, so 2-2 now. Here to McKnight. McKnight got that squeeze bunt single. Came around to score his last time. Farley, a big stolen base threat. He's behind McKnight by 4 this year for stolen bases. He has 26, McKnight at 30. Both of them good friends off of the field as well. Farley takes off, one in the dirt. He's easily safe. Head first dive nonetheless. That almost came to get him this year. It was a game in Yankton where Farley slid into third and hit his nose on the bag. And Torvey was like, "Are you okay, man?" Because it was straight in there, and it nearly, it could have been like a bloody nose situation. You never know. So full count. This is usually where Doyle walks somebody that's fouled off. Torvey, in and out of the hands.
You and I have talked about former big league ball player Kelvin Torvey and how good he is with his hands in the third base coaching box. Sometimes on some pretty aggressive smashes into down the third base line.
Popped up into shallow right. Sanderson wants it. Called off of it by Leinbach, and Leinbach makes the out. So out number 1.
The thing is, when we were talking about top 3 plays, we wanted to get Kelvin Torvey's top 3 plays in the third base coaching box this year. But the challenge is, in almost every game we've had, the home plate camera behind, straight behind home plate that you're watching
doesn't
pick up the third base coach's great handiwork.
We're going a little bit wider today because I like the look of that when I did it in Sioux Falls this week. So we're a little bit wider. You will actually be able to see Torvey this time, so you get a little Torvey cam.
Your grandfather, my father, he loves the wide-angle lens. My dad's a great photographer in his own right.
Robert's not tempted.
Curious that you like the wide-angle look.
I like it like this because
it must be almost hereditary.
Well, I really missed a great play from Sioux Falls East, Tate Schaefer, that kind of got to me last week because my angle wasn't wide enough. A little bit off the plate, 2-1. Felt like Peterson was going to throw to second there. He loaded up, but there was nobody covering. So 2-0 now, or 2-1 here to Roberts. They missed it. Roberts fouled off the first pitch. Take it on for third. Farley gets it. It's a throw way out of the way. Lions not even close to it. The throw from left, not in time. Farley steals third, comes around to score, and yet again an error will cost a run for this Pierre team.
Pierre, their own worst enemy here in Game 1 of this regional series in Rapid City. They just have simply not backed up Miles Doyle the way that they would like to. And for the Pierre post-8 team, they're now down by a handful of runs in the second half of this 7-inning ball game.
Apparently that last one was a strike, so it's 2-2. A little bit off. And Roberts resists the temptation. We now look at a full count. This is now 4 out of 5 times it has been a walk. One of which was to Roberts in the opening at bat. Payoff pitch. Grounded. Hard over to first. Coverdale gets it, but nobody's covering. That's not an error or anything, I don't think, but Doyle just didn't make the hustle to get over there. Coverdale was just looking. Help me out, man.
Yeah, poor Coverdale. He didn't have any coverage from his teammates, and that allows Aiden Roberts to reach first base. And that is simply a lack of execution. And you're not going to get to Yankton and play for a state title next week if you execute that poorly. It's that simple.
Well, Roberts' stolen base threat. He already took one this game. Strike on the outside of the plate. I feel for Doyle. He's done nothing wrong. I mean,
he's given up hits.
He has.
And you win as a team, you lose as a team. But no, Doyle has really been undone by his defense, his team's defense around him.
Strike. So back-to-back located pitches on the outside. Doyle not packing too much heat, but he seems to locate pretty well. Back-to-back outside, I want to call those, I don't know, change-ups, something like that. A little bit of a vertical drop, not so fast. The pitch there is going to be lined into center. Eastland makes the out. Out number 2 recorded. Reader, actually, 0 for 2 now.
I think Eastland really plays a good center field. I was impressed with him when we saw Eastland earlier this year at the Veterans Classic, and he just covers the ground, and he does a good job of making the catch when he's in the area of those fly balls.
All right. Well, Harrison Good now coming up. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. Strike at the top of the zone, delivered there by Doyle. This Pierre team never been a first game team, like I was saying. They're 1-12 in opening games of 2-game series. They turn into a 5-8 team after that. That is a stolen base attempt, but come on back, Aiden. We got a foul ball.
I want to give a little shout out to our neighbors around the bend here. The Babe Ruth Central Plains Regional Tournament happening today, tomorrow, and Saturday. If you're looking for some additional baseball besides the regionals, come on down and see some great teams from Moorhead, Minnesota, Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and 2 Rapid City Babe Ruth teams. Of course, last year Rapid City had a Babe Ruth team make it to the National Babe Ruth World Series in Ottumwa, Iowa.
Huh. All right, 0-2. Ball in the pellets will make it 1-2 now. Very good. Only getting his action here. It feels like nothing's come to him out and right this game. Mighty's kept everything on the ground. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Doyle gets his first K, or the second K of the day. Second on Good, actually. And that is going to be the inning. So 1 run scores on an error by the catcher, Peterson. And 1 more gets aboard. Only 2 hits allowed, 1 run unearned, 1 error on the catcher, and 1 man left on base there. So we enter the top of the 5th. Lighty coming back out, holding a 5-run lead. I'll be back in just a moment.
We'll step in here, Mike Bell. Happy to be with you. And we remind you, tomorrow, game number 2 will come your way early in the day. Oliver will have the play-by-play action. And then, if necessary, there'll be game 3. That game would be played 30 minutes after game number 2. Hardhats TV will be with you for the duration. That means the regional series now and tomorrow. That means the state tournament, perhaps starting for the Hardhats if they advance to Yankton. That would be starting up next Wednesday and running through the following Sunday. And then the Hardhats are hosting yet again the Central States Regional Tournament as part of the national postseason, as the top two teams from Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, and at least one of the and one other team from South Dakota will be here for an 8-team tournament from August 2nd through August the 6th, and we'll have all of those games for you with Oliver Fell behind the microphone. And now here's Oliver as we begin the top of the 5th inning with the Hardhats on top, 5-0.
Sorry, I had to switch out a few cords out there on the transmitter because I didn't like how much flickering was going on with the cam. Here's Matthew Coverdale. Coverdale, in addition to catching that fish, also was an all-state offensive lineman this year. Grounded over to McKnight. He gets it, throw to first in time. He did the majority of that season on a broken fibula. Real Iron Man.
Well, I'm glad you caught the flicker. You handled the flicker. That's good.
Yep. Well, it always kind of catches my eye as I see it in my peripheral. That'll bring up Nolan Peterson.
At least you still have peripheral. I don't even know how much peripheral vision I even have anymore.
That's very possible. Getting up there. So 1-0 count. Strike delivered at the top of the zone, 1-1. Ball in the dirt makes it 2-1. Lighty, known to go deep into games. He actually has 3 complete games this year. One of them was 5 innings, but it counts. That one's going to be lined into right. Harry Good not going to be able to make a play. He lets it bounce. So a single from Peterson gets a Pierre Post 8 player aboard, and that'll bring up the designated hitter Cooper Terwilliger, who had a single his last time. Lighty not allowed anything more than a single, but he's allowed 4 singles or 3 singles. Just 3. Ball delivered inside to Terwilliger. Terwilliger got that single on his last time up. He's 1 for 1 in the game. Throw back to first, not going to be on target. And that'll be the first error of the game for the Hardhats. Hayden Lighty misses the check back, and that'll allow Peterson to head over to second.
Boy, sometimes you see that opportunity with the base runner, and your eyes almost get a little too big. And it seemed like in that last sequence, that Hayden Lighty saw that he had a really good opportunity to pick off Cooper Terwilliger, or rather Nolan Peterson, from first base. But as he realized he had that opportunity, he may have just thrown a little too hard, and that throw was off the mark.
Foul ball. Power runs in the family for Cooper Terwilliger. His sister, Reese Terwilliger, won state for Pierre in the shot put.
That is an event that I would never have ever tried out for.
I don't think you're the build.
I don't think so.
You're just kind of a lanky, skinny guy,
I'm not
with very little muscle
I'm not
mass.
A shot putter. Come to think of it, I never even got near a track meet except when I was a public address announcer, only to find out that I did a poor, or some people say great job of being a PA announcer at a track meet when I did a play-by-play account of the races at the track.
What are you doing?
Which you're not supposed to do.
No.
I didn't know any better. This was my first track meet.
How old were you?
I was an adult. I was
You were like
managing radio
25,
stations in
30?
Kansas. No, mid-30s.
Mid-30s? I didn't know better. You could
I didn't know better.
You've PA'd other things. You don't PA football and do that.
I got an ovation when I left the press box at Denham Field
Okay,
in Colby,
all right.
Kansas, because the parents said it was the most exciting track meet that they'd ever attended. They did
Okay.
not. They did not ask me back the next year. I did get free Burger King the next day after I was doing the track meet
That's
play-by-play,
good.
because some of the student athletes at the high school recognized me and enjoyed the track meet so much.
All right, full count. Lighty delivers high, so a walk will be issued. His second of the day. 2 men on, 1 out. They're gonna pitching coach Ryan Clapperidge gonna come talk to Lighty, try to settle him down with 2 men on. Last time he was in this situation, he got a 1-6-3 double play to end the second inning.
I love the timing of this visit by Coach Clapperidge, because right now it's still a shutout, and Hayden Lighty is 2 outs away from being the pitcher of record. Not that that's what is important at this time of year. It's about
No, he's already the
about
pitcher
winning.
of record.
Oh,
This is
it's
7
they
innings.
had to go
This is
5
7.
innings. Oh, okay. But anyway, Hayden Lighty, he is getting his words of wisdom from Coach Clapperidge, Coach Clapp, and we'll see how he responds. And you talk about somebody who has just really picked it up down the stretch. That has been Hayden Lighty. He has just been a hammer for Coach Torby and Coach Clapperidge down the stretch here.
All right, 1 out. Got the man on. This will bring up the 9-hole hitter Eastland. He fouls 1 away. Going to make the pitcher work a little, but Eastland, the center fielder, I've seen him play great defense all around. In addition to his football, where he's verbally committed to Wayne State, he is also a basketball point guard, shooting guard combo. 0-1. A breaking ball really breaks a little far, tests out the padding in the back, and a wild pitch will advance the runners. Now 2 men in scoring position. The only force out is at first.
Wayne State, by the way, Wayne, Nebraska, that is where Creighton basketball head coach Greg McDermott was able to do his college studies and play college basketball. There you go, trivia bit there.
Yeah. 1-1 to Eastland. Fouls 1 away. Gets a piece of it. 1-2. Eastland, definitely the lowest hitting batter of any of these Pierre players against the Hardhats. He entered the game batting .222, so that would be 2 for 9. He's now batting .200 because he got out in the first time up. So 1-2. Lighty checks the runners, throws. That's going to be skied into left center. It's going to drop. And that'll bring home 1. The throw to short gets away from McKnight. And that'll be a RBI single for Pierre. And that'll move in the runner Peterson from third. Terwilliger will stay put. And runners on first and second, or second and third, 1 out again. As the first run is surrendered by Lighty, though technically unearned.
You know, this has been the night of the unearned run. We've had 6 unearned runs in this game. We have yet to see an earned run with the Hardhats leading 5-1.
You guys know my opinions. I don't have to say them. Taken low, 1-0. I'm glad that Dylan agrees with me as a pitcher.
Dylan agrees with you a lot. You young men have some
definitely more than I agree with you.
Baseball telepathy.
Strike, edge of the plate, well located.
People are accustomed to our disagreements on these broadcasts. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, we're clashing. 2 generations apart.
To see clashing, watch us around football and our philosophies towards the game of football.
He still believes that we're on the Western Front and need to move inch by inch. Good running game sets up the pass. You know, the whole deal. All right, 1-1. He really likes the Titans, I bet. 1-1. Breaking ball! Gets the man to swing through it. That was a special pitch. The crowd gives him a clap. And it's now 1-2 to the leadoff man, Hansen. So, Lighty, not having his normal K count, but he also kind of does that against lesser teams. Just gets a piece of that one, and we fight on. So, still 1-2. On deck is Zabel. Not the guy you want to come to, but you don't really have a double play here unless you get a line out or something of that sort. Or, you know, you hit it to Harry Good and he throws the man out at home.
This is such a big moment in the game. 2 men in scoring position, just 1 out.
Just gets a piece of it. I think that was off of him. They're going to throw to home. Bentz applies the tag. So they get the lead runner. Heads up play by Lighty. That's what we were talking about. That brain of his really working out. Bentz applies the tag. They're able to get Terwilliger coming home. And runners on the corners with 2 outs now. Definitely more manageable as Jet Zabel enters the box. He does lead this team with RBIs. He had 3 RBIs in his first 4 games against the Hardhats. Also had an incredible game against Casper in their 1 game.
I thought that throw from Lighty was a little high, but thankfully for the Hardhats, it was Philip Bentz able to get the tag down in time to easily record the out at home plate.
So Hansen reaches on the fielder's choice. Last time that Zabel was up, he grounded right back into a 1-6-3 double play. That's lined. Good play from Dietrich. No throw needed. And he scoops that one out the dirt. He has, I swear, time slows down for Alex Dietrich on line drives. He is able to see so much longer than I can. He adjusts to every little bounce and everything so quick. I swear, he just gets more frames a second than I ever do.
Well, that was a matador inning, if you want to call it that, for the Hardhats. They had a lot of trouble brewing, and they negotiated their way out with just 1 unearned run crossing the plate. And as the fans stand up for the take me out to the ball game, 5th inning stretch here at Fitzgerald Stadium. The Hardhats are on top, 5-1, and every run that has been scored has not only been unearned, but it's really been a direct punishment for errors that have been committed by both of these teams. But the Hardhats are leading by 4 runs, and now the Hardhats are just 6 outs away from claiming game 1 of this best-of-3 series here in this 2023 South Dakota American Legion State Regional.
Yeah, well, I bet there's a ton of teams out there that know how dangerous Pierre is and are really hoping for a different result here. Get the 45-time state champs out of the mix. Gives everybody else a better chance.
They can hope, but the Hardhats have something to say about that. Right now, the Hardhats lead by 4 runs, and but you're onto something there, Oliver. When you are the defending state champs, when you have become the gold standard in the Rushmore State, your opponents are not going to pull for you this time of year. But how about all these fans who are behind the Hardhats, not only in attendance tonight, but the huge audience tuning in tonight on Hardhats TV. Big shout out to all of you great fans. What a season it's been, and let's hope, knock on wood, the best is yet to come.
Absolutely. Well, Doyle back for his 5th inning. He's going to pitch to the leadoff man, Dietrich, to lead off this inning, or the cleanup man, Dietrich, to lead off the inning. Fouls one back off the catcher gear. Just a little skimmer on the top of the bars. So 2-1 now. Dietrich 0 for 2 in this game. Feels unlike him. Just a little down. 3-1. Dietrich doing the thing that umpires really should do. I've seen Pat Hoberg in the majors. He's so good. What he does is he crouches a little and moves towards the ball behind home plate to make sure he gets that. That's popped up. Sanderson calls for it. Makes the out. Out number 1. So Dietrich 0 for 3. Uncharacteristically, it'll bring up Hollick, who is 0 for 1, but does have that walk and the first run of the game. So up comes Hollick. Hollick, once again, nobody to drive in. That's usually what he does so well. But he'll have to make his own runs. Already did it once. Walks as good as a single here. That's lined over to short. Handled cleanly by Hansen. Throw to first in time. So a good play from Hanson on a sharp bounce, and 2 outs recorded. Doyle making quick work of the heart of this lineup.
What a performance, really, by Miles Doyle tonight. I mean, he has risen to the occasion. If it wasn't for the trio of miscues by Pierre post 8, this game would be a lot tighter than it is at the moment.
That's a strike. Breaking ball finds the zone. Here's Ridge. He has a single and reaching on an error. He got out in the 2 innings ago trying to steal third and sliding past it. So 0-2. Doyle shows his grip. I can't read it because I don't play baseball, but 0-2. Grounded up the line and foul. So will remain 0-2. Doyle has Inhofer far behind in the count here. On deck is Bentz, who is 0 for 2. Inhofer, an extra base machine, especially right about now. So 0-2. Big hard hit, ball into left. It will get down. Handled cleanly by the left fielder. So a single will keep this inning alive from Ridge Inhofer, bringing up Phil to try to do something with him. Inhofer got a steal, but can't be too fast. You got to get there, but not there, you know? So Inhofer improves to 2 for 2 on the day. Brings up Phil. He's 0 for 2. That bounces off of the catcher gear. He still doesn't know where it is. He has to move around. Inhofer going to stay at... Oh, ball is... He slips a little. Just kind of a big Follies moment there. Peterson didn't know where it was off the mask. Went to the backstop. Tried to pick it up. Didn't quite get it. Then slipped on the pellets or whatever was going on back there. And just kind of a... You know, put a little Benny Hill behind it. So... Inhofer gets second. I think he could have gone for third on that. So 1-0 count to Bentz. He flinches at 1 right down the middle.
You know what I always say, you never want to make that the third out at third base.
Ooh.
I just always go back to that expression.
Ooh. 1-1. We just did it with Ridge last time. Fouled off. Though it wasn't really his fault. So 1-2 count here. I think it's just 1-1. Am I crazy? You see 1-2?
Yeah, I got 1-2.
Okay, it's 1-2. I must have looked away for a pitch or something.
That crazy foul ball thing was a strike.
Oh, yeah. It was a strike? Okay. 1-2. In the dirt. Inhofer takes off. He doesn't have a ton of space. The throw. He slides. He's going to stay on it this time. Just barely. He grabs it on his way by. And he gets Tilvatorni.
Like that away. Yeah, nothing makes a manager smile than to see a player not repeat the same mistake twice. And that's what we just saw from Ridge.
High. I'm going to qualify that as a stolen base because he really did have to cover most of that while the catcher had the ball, rather than a wild pitch.
You know,
he didn't take off until...
let's give him the stolen base. If anything, it feels like he stole some multiple bases.
Doyle,
already.
The payoff, swing and a miss. He's able to put the slow one, able to, taunt Bentz with a juicy ball out in front of him. He swings through it. Doyle finishes the inning scoreless, and we go into the 6th. It's still just a 4-run game. Hayden Lighty coming back out for his 6th inning of work.
Here we go into inning number 6. If you're enjoying tonight, as Oliver mentions many times throughout the season, give us a like. If you give a like to the broadcast, the more people get to see the broadcast, because the way it works in the Google universe, yes, Google owns YouTube, is that the more likes a broadcast gets, the more people have the broadcast show up on their algorithm search results. And so there you go. Just give the broadcast a like, and that will go towards greater distribution of Hardhats TV, not only around the nation, but as our friend Igor can attest, around North America.
That was very good. You used all the buzzwords correctly. I'm very proud of you. For a man who doesn't own any social media accounts, you've impressed me.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you.
All right, so Lighty coming back out for his 6th inning of work. Like I said, he's used to working deep into counts. This time last year, Lighty was pitching in the regionals for the post 320 Stars. Stars are playing Harrisburg Maroon over at their stadium right now. They should win that series. I would expect to see them in Yankton. They are the 6th seed. Maroon, not overly intimidating as a team. I thought we were going to get them, but apparently some mix-ups. Huron played Sturgis on the final day, and it messed with some of the scores, and we got reshuffled into playing Pierre. So 2-0. If you're wondering what happened on the Twitter, that was that. I prematurely did that. So 2-0. Strike delivered on the outside of the plate here to Lions. Lions 0 for 2 today with a pop out and a ground out to short. A little bit outside, so 3-1. That's grounded. McKnight handles it, backhand, throw to first, easily in time. No play even close to being made there by Lions. McKnight, he's just so good at that kind of stuff. And he throws as hard as he does trying to get a guy that's almost at first as a guy that's nowhere near it. He just unloads what I believe was measured at an 86 mile per hour infield velocity over to first all the time. McKnight, only a junior. He'll play one more year. He'll be in high school one more year. He'll be back here next year. That one lined foul. Hard hit, though.
That foul ball might just find its way to Rapid Creek.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for Leinbach to do something. He's had a pretty down game. 0-2. Whitey gives him a breaking ball. Leinbach frustrated. Whitey gets what I believe is just his 2nd K of the game. It is.
Yep, it's just his 2nd strikeout. You talk about pulling the string. That's what Hayden Whitey did a moment ago.
Well, he gets to go up against Sanderson here. A man with hair, I'd argue, is even lighter than Lee Negebauer's, which is a very hard thing to do. The hair borders on white from Sanderson.
It is. If Mr. Sanderson showed up at a beach in California, he would be one of many, I think.
He'd be right at home. 0-1. Taken inside. So 1-1 now. One count here to Sanderson. Sanderson 1 for 2 on the day. He had an infield single to start out hitting for Pierre back in the 3rd. Or the 2nd, sorry. So 2-1 count now. I don't know what Inhofer was doing out there. He just ran from the corner and right center back to the middle. I think he was just like going to tell something to Harry. I don't know. There was something going on, but he came back. So a 2-2 count now here to Sanderson. Sanderson stands tall. Expanding that strike zone. Taken low. Not going to fool him there. 3-2 now. So payoff pitch here. Hayden Lighty delivers. Low and inside. So that'll be a walk. This inning continues. Sanderson gets his first walk of the year against the Hardhats in any of their games. And now a man on, 2 outs, and coming up is Matthew Coverdale, who has been raking against this Hardhats team all year. He's 0 for 2 in this game, but he came into the game batting .500 with over a 1,000 OPS. Coverdale. Taken up and outside. 2-0 count. Coverdale. 2-0 count here. Delivered, fouled off. Right onto the berm and not the parking lot. So it's 2-1. I think that
Actually, it did make its way
It
to
did?
the parking lot. Yep. There's
Okay.
a young boy over there with the white sweatshirt on, and he just couldn't get to that ball. It is in the parking lot.
Yeah. They're climbing it now. Strike! Right down Main Street, 2-2. Coverdale could have probably helped out his teammate George Staley. Staley was so bad at holding at 7 years old, at holding the fishing rod. His grandpa patented and distributed a fishing rod holder known as the Fish Doctor. So probably could have given him some things. By age 9, Coverdale was, bringing in nearly state record trout. And Staley couldn't even hold on to the rod for grandpa.
I'll tell you what, I don't know very many almost record breakers under age 10
Yeah.
that I've ever heard referenced in a sports broadcast until tonight, Oliver.
Yeah, well, him and Grace, a dynamic duo. Grounded softly over to McKnight. He will throw to first, get the out. Coverdale did leg it out, and that'll be the end of the inning. So one man gets aboard by a walk. They are retired, and it's still a 5-1 game here. Hardhats looking to give a little more insurance, make it a little bit better for them, get some momentum going into that game 2 that Pierre always seems to capitalize on. And we have a relief pitcher.
So Oliver, you have taken a number of road trips with the Hardhats, and it has been obviously a lot of fun for you this summer. So I want to ask this question: you went to a college road. You did not go to the
I did not.
Series.
I was with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you did go to Target Field. What was it like to see the Baltimore Orioles, who, by the way, just moved into first place last night in the American League East standings? What was it like to see the Twins and the Orioles?
Cedric Mullins is a lot better than I ever thought he was. Cedric Mullins plays one of the best center fielders I've ever seen. I have high praise for Cedric Mullins. He was very good. It felt like everything that got even into his general wheelhouse was tracked down. He robbed a home run. He did the whole deal. Got 2 or 3 hits that night. He had a big one. I enjoyed Target Field, but I did enjoy coming from the behind the plate area. It was a little bit nicer than out in the home run pit.
That's awesome.
It was a relatively nice night, but it went to extras, and there were guys that were like, we already played 2 games today, and it's the end of the night, and it's 1-1. Let's just finish this thing up. And then Felix Bautista ended up closing that thing out for the Orioles in a win, 2-1. Coach Torvey had something to say there, though. I was sitting with him pregame. He was pointing to the ace for the Twins, Bailey Ober. The big 6'8" righty. He said, I taught that kid, I coached that kid in T-ball.
That's great. That is
Apparently out in North Carolina, he coached him in T-ball and a little bit of basketball camp.
It's such a small world. It's amazing, isn't it? Well, Oliver, we begin the bottom of the 6th, and with the call here on Hardhats TV, here's Oliver Fell.
All right, Zeke Farley going to lead this one off, a position he's not 4-2. Started out this year as a leadoff. Was leadoff for most of his all-state season last year. Fouled away. That's going to, nope, doesn't hit the box. I thought it was going to maybe hit the other one. We have not shattered any glass. I know Miko made this thing to last, but I've only seen one time it actually hit the glass, and it was a floater. It didn't really have that much on it. One of these days it's going to come into the booth. It hit right close during like a early morning game in the Firecracker. It kind of caught me off guard because I was looking down, checking my scorebook, and for once it actually came over to me.
Was that one of those Lobos games?
No, you weren't there. Actually, it might have been Papillion Lobos. Might have been their bonus game. So 2-2. It was it was like like a 12 o'clock game. Or what, 2 o'clock, whatever it was. It was kind of rainy. 2-2. Farley swings on one. He'll poke it into right. Linebach coming in, making the play. Out number 1 recorded for this new relief pitcher. Let me check and see who that is.
Do we want to tip our hat to Miles Doyle?
Oh, that's Cooper Terwilliger. He's just coming from the DH onto the mound.
Miles Doyle, the starter for Pierre Post 8 tonight. He goes 5 innings strong, gives up 5 runs, but none of those runs were earned.
So Cooper Terwilliger retires the first man. Linebach getting a lot of work in today. McKnight, I guess he gets hit by that one. So he'll he'll wear one for an extra 90 feet over to first. And that'll bring up the leadoff man, Roberts. Both of them common roommates on trips. Of course, middle infield connection. They played a lot of time at short and second today, or this year. McKnight leads the team in stolen bases. Farley is caught on him. Farley is now just 2 behind McKnight on the season for stolen bases. McKnight leads the team with 30. 1-0, they throw back. McKnight not even close. Almost gets his hand stepped on by Coverdale, though. Coverdale can't help it. He says, "I'm sorry, man. Almost got you." So 1-0. Throw back. Gets away! So now McKnight headed for second. He will have extra bases. He's going for third. He's going all the way over there. They will tell him to hold up at third. So a error will allow McKnight over to third, and it feels like yet again an error going to cost this Pierre team a run.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're 9-26 Pierre Post 8 or you're the stratospherically impressive Cheyenne, Wyoming Post 6. You can't commit 4, 5, or 6 errors a game and come to Fitzgerald Stadium and expect to win.
No. We might see Cheyenne in the Central Plains region. No, they go to the other one with Idaho and whatnot. So 2-0. Grounded, hard over to short, handled cleanly. McKnight takes off for home. The throw not in time. So a RBI ground out. McKnight savvy there, waits on the throw and takes off for home. So out, exchange for a run. Hardhats extend their lead to 5 runs, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Hardhats lead 6-1.
You know, that's what we would call in baseball fair trade right there for the Hardhats. They're happy to exchange an out for an additional insurance run. Now the Hardhats are outside of what I call Grand Slam comeback range, leading 6-1 here in the 6th inning.
All right, Reeder's up. Man batting 400 is 0 for 2 in the game. Has not gotten a hit today. Feels kind of off for him. Last time he was here, he played next level baseball and got 3. And he was fresh off an injury. Ooh, look at Peterson go. Throws his glove up in the air, makes a great grab on one way outside. 2-0.
Hardhats have scored in each even-numbered inning in this game, in innings 2, 4, and 6.
Terwilliger having some trouble locating against the lefty. Now looking at a 3-0. You do have to wonder how that is. You know, you don't ever think about it, but you stare at somebody and you're trying to hit a different outside of the zone. That probably gets to a pitcher. That you gotta hit, that you're throwing to what would have been the inside is now the outside. I bet you're stronger at locating against one side or the other.
We see it all the time with righty-lefty matchups. It's an important part of the strategic elements of the game of baseball, and it really does make a difference how
Reeder grounds it hard up the line. Is that fair? No, foul. Just a little bit foul. It took 2 bounces fair, and I thought it did. I will agree with the umpire. I think it went a little bit wide at first base. So it'll be a full count now. Reeder comes back to finish his at bat.
The umpiring crew has just done a marvelous job. We haven't even noticed their presence, and that's the highest compliment that you can give to an umpiring crew or an officiating crew for that matter.
If I were to guess, they'd probably be back here tomorrow. Fouled out of play. Into the over the bullpen.
I'd say they can come back anytime.
You have to wonder, is for state playoffs, are these state appointed officials?
I believe so, yeah.
I would think
this
so.
would be considered a state event, and you would expect they would be assigned.
Taken up and outside just barely, so Reeder takes his second walk of the day. He has some stolen base capabilities, but not like crazy.
How about what our scene is here at the parking lot tonight, Canyon Lake Road? We've got 3 games all in progress right now at each of the 3 ballparks: McCabe Field, Pete Lean Field, and Fitzgerald Stadium.
Wow. Terwilliger puts a beautiful curveball in the center of the zone there for Harry. He sits on it. That was a very pretty pitch.
So is it first pitch at 11 tomorrow, Oliver?
11 a.m.
Game 2?
and then, if needed, probably 30 minutes after, but it's scheduled for 1:30 for the if needed game 3. Grounded hard up the line, and that'll get through. Lions unable to corral it, and Harry Good gets his first hit of the day, and that will keep the inning alive. 2 men on. Terwilliger going to have to get out of this. The manager for Pierre going to come talk to him. Last time he talked to the pitcher, it seemed to work pretty well.
The last time the head coach for Pierre, post 8, he raced out to the mound to talk to Miles.
Yeah, this one not as urgent.
And this was a stroll. It was a stroll with a purpose. I mean, if you were in a corporate setting, you'd say that he walked like a manager there. But of course, he is a manager of baseball too. But he definitely had a different gait as he headed to the mound there.
That's making a funny comp. All right. Dietrich up. He's been weirdly silent today at the plate. He's 0 for 3. Cleanup man got some dirty bases to deal with right now. 1-0. I'm going to try to turn on the water and rinse them all off here. So 1-0 count. He resets as Terwilliger takes his time on the mound. Delivers outside. 2-0. Peterson did a good job of limiting wild pitches today. Just had his troubles throwing. The one caught stealing coming on the one where Ridge beat the throw but slid past the bag. That gets away just as I compliment it. And that'll move the men to scoring position. Little announcer's jinx there.
Well, when the announcer's jinx goes the way of the Hardhats, you are doing your due diligence.
Or by duty, I guess.
Your duty. And, well, there we go.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a smart play. They were already down 3-0 in the count. Why not put the force out in and bring him on? I think that's a pretty good savvy move from the manager.
Let's see what was going on there.
So bases loaded for the RBI leader this year, Hayden Hollick. He's been leading off a ton of innings so far this game. This is the first one that he'll have anybody on for him. And he's probably quite happy. You know, the RBI king, Hayden Hollick, waits the 0-1. Terwilliger gives him one, fouled off. That was a juicy pitch. Just fought off the top of the bat.
just know Hayden Hollick would love to give a pitch, a ride deep into the night here with the bases full of powder blue clad hard hats.
I don't know if he's hit one here. He has not hit a home run here. He's hit 2 this season. That's hit hard into center. Going back is Eastland. Makes the grab right around the track, a little bit short of it. And bases are stranded. Terwilliger allows none in the top of the 6th. Oh, he allows 1 in the bottom of the 6th. Then we go into the top of the 7th with the Hardhats leading 6-1, closing in on their on a 1-0 series lead in the regionals.
Hardhats are 3 outs away from taking a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 regional series. You know, we have a chance, if you're a college baseball fan, or for that matter now with the new format, with the wild card round of the Major League Baseball playoffs in October,
New
we're
format.
seeing more and more 3-game series than we've ever seen in recent memory. And so rarely does a team fall behind, 0-1 and come back and win a 3-game series. These are very important game ones, and the Hardhats 3 outs away from nailing this game down. And I've just been impressive that the Hardhats have been completely undeterred in their approach. They have been getting on base. They've been making things happen on base. Sometimes they've cashed in, sometimes they haven't. But you know what? They've kept the pressure on Miles Doyle and the Pierre Post State defense, and they have been able to capitalize on errors, 4 errors committed by our neighbors to the east from our state capital, Pierre Post State.
We have a pinch hitter for Pierre. Oh no, this is just Nolan Peterson. Sorry, I got thrown off. So Nolan Peterson leads off this inning for Pierre, the 12 seed. They always say you worry for the 12-5 upset in the NCAA tournament. That seems to be the one everybody likes to pick. The small school going up against a middling big one. This one, there's a larger gap than you would see in the NCAA tournament, as instead of 68 out of 368 teams in NCAA Division I basketball, there are simply 15 out of 18. No, yeah, 18 teams make it to the regional round of the Legion of South Dakota Legion. 1-2. Inside. 2-2. Peterson yet to get a hit.
What's really hard to get my mind around is it was only like 3 weeks ago the Hardhats were in a position where they may have to travel for the regionals to another team's city or town.
Since the middle of June and that series with the end of that Omaha trip, the Hardhats have gone 16-3 and have really changed things. One of those 3 being a loss to Pierre on the road, though. Definitely the lowest ranked team to beat them in that stretch, and it was an impressive thing. So a walk issued, a leadoff walk, first man gets aboard, and it's only a 5-run deficit here. Definitely got their shot, though they're going to have to do it with the bottom of the order.
Sometimes the best rallies come from in a situation where the first couple hitters are in the bottom of the order, and then with base runners, the top of the order comes up to try to get a big inning going. And we're in the top of the 7th.
I do see.
That's what Pierre's looking for here.
That's a strike. No, a little bit high. I was just expecting it on the big, tall Cooper Terwilliger. But I do see some warm-up in the bullpen. I believe Jade Moreno out there if needed. Moreno been a real good story this year, just a sophomore. And he has, at Rapid City Christian, he is really turned around. At the beginning of the year, he was a shaky guy. You kind of held your breath when he came in the game, and now he's probably one of the most consistent relievers we've got, right there with Eli Kelly. So 1-2.
Yeah, Jaden Moreno's progressions this year, in some ways on a parallel track to Hayden Leidy's season.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, of course, Hayden much older Jaden, but it's been
1-2.
interesting to see.
Swing and a miss! Terwilliger upset with himself. And that is going to be the third K of the day here for the pitcher, Hayden Leidy. He's going for a complete game, unearned outing. That would be his third such.
What a job by Hayden Leidy. I remember calling the broadcast in early May when Hayden Leidy went deep into the game against the Billings Scarlets. That was a heartbreaking 7-6 loss that night, but I'll never forget just Hayden showed his grit that night. And you can go a long ways with grit. And for Hayden, he trusted in the process. He worked very hard. He took the great advice from his great coaches, and look at the results.
Well, 0-1 count. Swing and a miss! He is putting his foot on the pedal till the final, till he hits the ribbon.
We're starting to see those Pierre anger swings. These are the kind of swings that happen when the reality of a loss is setting in on a ball player.
0-2, that is going to be chopped over to second. Roberts makes the throw to second, he'll get the lead runner. If he kind of hesitated there, thinking whether or not he could even get, Peterson on second. Eventually made the throw. Maybe could have got a double play, but we're in no rush.
I love Aiden Roberts. He's just a very thoughtful ball player, and it's okay to take a moment to consider the right decision versus just doing something. And you would never know that Aiden Roberts is as young as he is with his plate discipline and his excellent decision making in the infield.
A man they're calling Mighty Mouse. I believe an improvement, maybe, on his previous nickname, AK-15, or AR-15, sorry. But now it's an 0-1. We are pitching to the leadoff man, Hansen. That gets down, and Bentz keeps it in front of him. Bentz and Leidy called a very good game so far today. It's definitely shown. Both of them, like I said, very intellectual baseball players.
Well, and they're very good at being in sync with the pitcher on the mound.
That's low. Bentz keeps it in front of him. 2-1 to Hansen. Hansen is 0 for 2. He does have a walk, but he came into the game batting 462. So a real departure from what he was expecting. This team rarely faced Leidy. Maybe that's why he was thrown out there. It's usually been a Palmer Jacobs kind of thing. Roberts moved out of position to get a steal. Good's going to throw to third. That is a good throw. Not in time. A little bit off the bag. And Hayden Hollick not quite able to get the tag on in time. But what a bullet from Harry Good and right.
When you run against Harrison Good, you are trying to swim upstream with the salmon in the Pacific Northwest. You are trying to do something you're not supposed to do. And Harrison Good, he had an opportunity there to get that final out. And here we go. We got a pitching change. Jared Moreno coming in on the bullpen. Jaden Moreno. And how about this ovation for Hayden Leidy? A standing ovation from the great fans here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Way to go, Hayden Leidy.
Well, let me just say that Hayden did a great job out there. That last play very well could have been an out, but the thing was that the runner Eastland took off for second on a stolen base attempt before the ball was hit. And Roberts did his job. He came in to catch the throw to try to get the man at second, put him out of position, and they hit it right to where he used to be in that gap between second and first, and got into the outfield. So now we've got Eastland on third, and we have the leadoff man Hansen on second, and up comes Jet Zabel.
You may be wondering, well, there's an interesting time for a pitching change. The Hardhats are up by 5. They're down to their last out. But for head coach Kelvin Torvey and the Hardhats, things are more than just about this game. And, with that decision there by Coach Corby to bring in Jaden Moreno, he gives a chance to give Moreno some additional confidence and some experience here in this situation in the regionals. And on the other side, on the flip side, Hayden Leidy leaves with a standing ovation. He didn't open the gate or didn't open the door for Hayden Leidy to leave on a down note. And that's the type of subtle managerial brilliance that we constantly see from Kelvin Torby this season and year after year here with Post 22 baseball.
Well, Leidy was able to handle Zabel plenty. Jade Moreno not allowed a run of any kind in probably probably this month. Yeah, no, he is not allowed a run of any kind this month. Had a great month. Came in, pitched 2 1/3 against Maple Grove. Or not Maple Grove. River did that one. It was 2 1/3 against. Yeah, I think it was Sartell. 0-1. And then he pitched 3 innings and got the save against. Or no, he didn't. Yeah, no, he pitched 3 innings, got the save against Sioux Falls East. At the time, it was 5-2, so before it turned into an 11-2 game. Take Crossway and everything. All right, 1-1 count. Moreno got a filthy curveball. Zabel fights that one off. It bounces off of the light tower. I don't see that every day. 1-2.
Whenever I see a ball hit high off the light tower, I think of the Robert Redford film, The Natural.
All right, 1-2 count. Zabel, used to high pressure situations. The 1-2. Moreno gives him one. It's lined over to Roberts. Routine play at first. That's it. Hardhats come away. They take game 1 against Pierre. They lead the regional series now 1-0. They will go into tomorrow trying to get a sweep, but upon the Hayden Leidy win, Hardhats able to finish this one out 6-1.
What a big win for the Hardhats. Congratulations to Hayden Leidy and Coach Torby and all of the Hardhats. This was not a game that had a lot of offensive highlights in the way of anything like a home run or a deep triple into the outer recesses of the ballpark tonight. It's just been a solid victory. A lot of quality execution, small ball exhibited by the now 45-21 Post 22 Hardhats, the number 5 seed in this year's South Dakota Regional Tournament. And when you look at this Hardhats victory tonight, this was simply a matter of making Pierre pay for mistakes. And let's give a tip of the hat to Miles Doyle, the starter for Pierre.
He earns the loss without earning a run.
Well, yeah, he pitched valiantly, but the error by Carter Sanderson that would nullified the opportunity for a double play in the bottom of the second inning. That was really the play of the game, because that opened the door for Zeke Farley to come through with an RBI hit, and then everything just broke loose for a 4-run crooked number for the Hardhats to put up against the Post 18 from the state capital here. A big win for the Hardhats. Now Hardhats at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning here on Hardhats TV. We will be here. Oliver Fell will have the play-by-play.
We might have Dylan. Well, no promises.
We hopefully will have Dylan Marsh as your color commentator tomorrow, but no promises. I know I will not be here. I'll be the public address announcer next door over at McKeek Field for the Babe Ruth age 14 Central Plains baseball tournament going on with pool play going on tomorrow in that 3-day extravaganza at McKeek Field. But I'll tell you, Oliver, this was a lot of fun tonight. It was great being with you. And for the Hardhats, on a win they just needed to take care of business and they got it. And
Yep.
now the only thing that could keep them from a trip to Yankton would be a 9-27 Pierre Post 18 completing a road sweep. Of course, the Hardhats, they could, Coach Torby, if he wants to send a reminding message, you know, there's a Brandon Valley team that's had its struggles this year. They were able to come in and get a road sweep here at Fitzgerald Stadium in a doubleheader earlier this season.
And that was the team that Doyle no hit.
And
Yeah.
I mean, so for the Hardhats, nothing has been achieved yet, but they took a huge step forward. They had to get 2 wins to get to Yankton. Win number 1 came tonight, and they forced Pierre Post 8 to come in here tomorrow morning and afternoon, you know, on a hot, sweltering Friday to try to pull off a sweep against a Hardhats team that has just been magnificent going back to the CWS tournament in Omaha.
All right, so thank you all for watching here tonight. Hardhats, your Post 22 Hardhats win Game 1. They now lead the regional series 1-0. They will have a chance to close it out at 11 tomorrow, and if that doesn't work, 11 or 1:30 against this Pierre team. That Pierre team a lot better in Game 2 of series, but we will see. So thank you all for watching. Final score here in Rapid City: Post 22 Hardhats 6. Pierre Post 8 1. We will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you all for watching. I've been Oliver Fell. I want to thank for Wayne Sullivan, our GM, and my co-host here and father, Mike Fell, for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.